So we have one more extraordinary inductee tonight. So it's my pleasure to introduce the final inductee, Billie Weiss. Billie Weiss served at the LA County Department of Public Health for 23 years, and during that time, her efforts to increase attention to the issue of violence led her to become a director of the Department of Injury and Violence Prevention. You know, it's hard, really, with how much awareness we have right now about violence, about how crucial prevention programs are, to realize how extraordinary this work was when Billie Weiss began it. It's now a widely recognized not only problem, it's something that we can take a public health approach to, and that is very addressable. But back in the early 80s, much less was known about ways to prevent violence, and it wasn't always seen as a public health issue. She established the Violence Prevention Coalition of Greater Los Angeles, which 25 years later has become a model for coalitions really across the country and around the world. The coalition includes leaders and organizations from public health, law enforcement, the legal community, youth development, and victim support services, as well as those working to prevent gun violence, domestic violence, gang violence, child abuse, and much more. She now serves as the organization's Executive Director Emeritus. Beyond LA, Billie Weiss co-chairs Urban Networks to Increase Thriving Youth, a national initiative to strengthen and support local efforts to prevent violence in our country's largest cities. And she participated in drafting the World Health Organization's Melbourne Declaration, which calls on nations and organizations to reduce preventable injury rates. She's won a number of awards recognizing this extraordinary work, including the 2015 Victor Sidel and Barry Levy Award for Peace at the American Public Health Association Alumni Annual Meeting, one of their top awards. She was recognized by the California Wellness Foundation with its California Peace Prize. She received the Angel of Peace Award from LA County for violence prevention. She's been an extraordinary and courageous leader. So please join me in congratulating Billie Weiss.
Thank you very, very much. As a non-traditional student at the UCLA Fielding School of Public Health, this means more to me than I think I can really let you know. When I came in, I'm so glad Ralph Frericks is here. I came in to talk to Ralph to see about joining UCLA and becoming a student here. Years later, I discovered that I was older than all of my professors when I started at UCLA. And I was very much a non-traditional student. I had 5 children when I started here. I had just finished my bachelor's degree at a Cal State school. And coming to UCLA and experiencing what I experienced here changed my life. Literally, changed a lot of lives, I think, for the young people I've come across doing the work I've done. I'm extremely grateful to the mentoring and the friendships and the leadership I've experienced here. Michael Prelip and I have been partners working out in the community for years. Michael's leadership in providing me with student interns over the years has been remarkable. They've published papers, they've gone on to lead community organizations, and they've done just amazing work. Linda Bork always said to me, you need to go on and you need to get a doctorate. He said, Linda, I got to make a living. I'm sorry. Dean Fifi was instrumental too in a lot of the work that went on, and I've been really blessed with people and teachers and bosses who have said to me, just go ahead, we support what you're doing, and have allowed me to, at the health department, I can remember at one time I needed some money to finish a project. We were working on gun violence, and it was in the early 90s, very early. And we found that schools and McDonald's and everything else you could see in the political and the social landscape around LA actually were minute compared to the number of gun dealers we had in the county. So we mapped that out, and I needed just a little bit of money to finish showing where they all were. What we discovered was that most of them were located in people's homes, and they were kitchen table dealers. So I went trotting up to the Board of Supervisors, which you're not supposed to do when you're a county employee, and I said, I just need $1,000 from each of you to finish this mapping project. Well, fortunately, I walked into Zev Yaroslavsky's office first, and he looked at the data we had, and he said, oh my God. I said, what's the matter? He said, there are 5 dealers on my street. I said, well, you see what we're talking about. We also found that most of them were within 1,000 feet of schools. Now, there is no data that tells you that having a gun dealer close to a school is a real risk. But just intuitively, you have to feel it's not a good idea. Well, I will tell you, within 6 weeks of that visit, we had legislation passed in the County of Los Angeles that regulated gun dealers, kept them where they belonged in business districts, made them have a business license. But when I came back from that meeting, it was before Jonathan Fielding was the head of the health department. I got a call to come up to the director's office, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to be fired. I know I am. You're not supposed to do this. And I walked up to Dr. Finucane's office, Mr. Finucane, and he said to me, Billie, do you know what my biggest issue is around public health? And I said, no. He said, gun violence. He said, if you need money to finish a project, you come talk to me. You don't need to go to the Board of Supervisors. So I know that I bent rules, and I found that doing the kind of work that I do and the kind of work of the people who I've worked with, you have to have that kind of courage, and you have to have that kind of drive to go beyond. And I think UCLA and the people I've dealt with at UCLA have led us to believe that we can do impossible things. Now, climate change, David Hemingway and I had a conversation about climate change in Chicago at APHA this year. And as much as both of us care about violence and community violence and making changes in community, we do strongly, strongly believe that the biggest threat to our society is climate change. But climate change is also connected to violence and making peaceful communities. Because as climate change affects the poorest and the most poverty-stricken communities, so does violence. And as poverty and the stress on communities increases, violence increases. So violence is a public health issue. It's taken us more than 20 years to get other people to recognize it, but they do now. I'm pleased every time I go to see anybody in law enforcement talk about violence, and they will talk about it being a public health issue now. They may not know exactly what that means, but they do know it's community, where most things we measure are measured on individual measurements. Our measurements are on the community. How much community change is there? How much can we involve a community? Because all of us stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, and in violence and in community building, there's nothing truer than that fact that those who've been there before have helped us create what we've done. We have a lot to do. We have a lot to do, and I am always grateful when I see students from UCLA. First of all, we always try to engage you. We like to have you for interns. It's wonderful, and our work cannot go on without the training that goes on here at UCLA. I was recently in Geneva for a meeting, and when people hear that I went to UCLA, they are immediately impressed. Your work and the accomplishments coming out of this school cannot be minimized. It's just amazing. I was fortunate enough when I left the county health department to come to UCLA and to work with Jess Krause at the Injury Center. The seminal work on injury prevention happened at UCLA. When we talk about injury prevention, UCLA is mentioned over and over and over again. And I know that many of you know that I've been working hard with other members of the faculty here to try and get injury and violence prevention back into the School of Public Health. And we're working well away on this goal. And I wanted to mention to you, I'll just put in a little plug while I'm here, we're doing a seminar series here at UCLA in May. And we're having some fabulous people. Father Greg Boyle is going to come and talk about his work. Connie Rice is going to talk about her work. And we have some students and alumni who have made their careers in injury and violence prevention who will also be talking about it. Mike Fuhrer will also be here. So I just want you to know that even though I'm an alum, I'm really way beyond where you all are in your careers. I'm really on the resting side of things now, but we still care. And I think once you get involved, you never let go. And no matter how many times I try to retire, I keep coming back to have to do this work. So I thank you so very, very much for this honor. It really is a true honor, and I'm so grateful and humbled to accept this. Thank you.